So we'll go from that. Right. While we're waiting for that, we'll have a look at this while I go through what has happened overnight as such. And I think most of you uh, should have got the email that we sent out in the morning. So there's not much meat on the bone this morning, I'm afraid. And again, as a few people said yesterday, we could be stuck in a very tight range all morning. So I think a few people on their trading journals yesterday said the technicals work very well. Technicals work very well. You'll probably realise I'm not a massive fan of them when there is no news out. When there's no news out, we don't expect things to happen. Value lows and value highs and point of controls and everything else tend to work. Those of you who are aware that the Bank of Japan are having their meeting at the moment, and he's basically speaking from the same hymn book as both Christine Lagarde of the ECB and Mr. Powell of the Fed, who speaks again tomorrow. Those of you, some also sent me an email out saying, why has it been so quiet from the American Federal Reserves, from people not talking? Well, the reason is very simple. Most central banks have a blackout 8 to 10 days before their meeting, so they can't preempt anything and talk before. So no doubt from 7:30 tomorrow, Bailey, Williams, Evans, and the rest of them, Kasgari, will all be giving their pennyworth worth what they think of the markets and everything else. But have a quick look at those who are looking what's trading. Obviously, we had Tesla overnight. We can see on the screen there. They were slightly worse. I think the weird thing was that they took some of their profits out of Bitcoin, which obviously will shock a lot of people. But I suppose that's their business, and they did put in what 1.5 billion, and they're taking 100 million out. Obviously, Alphabet. Those of you who don't know who Alphabet is, I'd Google it because they're quite a big company, and also AMD and Microsoft. But again, looking at the big news on Wednesday night is the top two there, Apple and Facebook, mainly because they're in competition at the moment over data, and we'll go through that later. Right, today, what have we got out this morning and this afternoon? Not a lot out. 11 o'clock UK CBI retail sales. 11 o'clock, we have ECB Hernandez, who's basically Christian Lagarde's number two. He speaks at 11 o'clock and again at 4 p.m. And at 3 p.m., we have the Fed's Richmond Manufacturing Index. Not a lot, really. Before hours, we might get Bianca as a quick second to come in here. We have UPS coming out, General Electric, 3M, Lilly, her favourite shoes, Crocs, and BP have just come out with favourable reports that are out. Out of those, Bianca, which ones should we look at?
I'll be looking at Microsoft definitely because of the weighting on the S&P 500.
But that's but what about before hours? UPS, General Electric, 3M, Lilly.
3M definitely, and yeah, I think only 3M. I won't be looking at anything else.
Okay, I'll go
Yeah.
along with that. Obviously, I agree with that. After hours, the Microsoft and obviously Alphabet coming through there. Overnight, US are sharing 16 million AstraZeneca vaccines. That doesn't affect the market. One which may affect the DAX today. Those you're working out. Merkel retires from politics, and obviously the CDU is her party. It fell to its historic lowest level in the polls. The election is in September, and the Green Party is level with the CDU and their coalition with the CSU. The reason with that is the Greens do get in. You would expect a tax rise, obviously, in Germany, and that would probably affect the DAX. And I expect that unusual that should send the DAX slightly lower as such. UK in the Times this morning, the UK is to lift all restrictions by June the 21st. So that's good news. US 10-year yields are still steady at 1.58. The other one, of course, this news about the tax thing, which obviously Biden's going to talk about tomorrow afterwards. This rumors about the capital gains tax being 39% or adding up to 43% pushed the market down 400 ticks last week. His advisor came out yesterday and said, although it will probably be that, it would only affect less than a 0.3% of the American population. So Biden's also talking about the avoidance of capital gains tax, and this is where he thinks he can gain the money. He reckons he can gain another 1.5 trillion from people who are avoiding tax. Uh, Bank of Japan left rates unchanged as we thought. Nomura Bank have admitted they lost a mere 2.3 billion to the archaeologist fund. Uh, that came out that goes along with Credit Suisse and Morgan Stanley and a few of the others. So it did quite well, really, that fund. In whatever they trade, I think they must have been long a Nasdaq as such. Right, I'm going to look at the DAX at the opening. We've got 3 minutes to go. Again, quite a few of you are aware yesterday that we do expect a tight range. And the same thing, a lot of your journals that you send out as such were showing a decent scalps, but in theory, even the Wall Street yesterday, where we normally expect 150 to 200 ticks at 2:30, we're probably getting 50, 60 ticks. The same as such in the FTSE and DAX, that although it sounds pretty pathetic, but in a way from 8 o'clock or anything else, a 15, 20 tick still when no news is coming out is probably ample at the moment today in both the DAX and the FTSE. And in a way, that's not penny scrimping or sniping, because we don't really expect the FTSE or DAX to move more than 0.5%. 0.5% in the FTSE is probably 35 ticks at 7,000, and obviously a DAX is probably 75 ticks as well. So George is in. Morning, George. You're going to look at the FTSE for us. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
And
Just rallied actually.
And I'll have a butcher's at the DAX.
Shot up 10 points.
Yeah, DAX has done the same.
Hmm.
Again, I think we're finding. I'm going to mute George here. Again, we're finding. Before now, the market's tended to move just before 8 o'clock. That's quite common from last week, and we bear that in mind, obviously. And we're starting to get that bit now before 2:30 on Wall Street. So whether the cash boys do come at 8, which we know they do, but obviously we may see a few of the funds realizing there's an opportunity not to be missed, and they're jumping in just before 8 o'clock. I think a few of you noticed it last week. Again, we wait for the big volume probably to tick in at around about 8 o'clock, but it was very noticeable then. On the chart, we came in around about 7:58. And I suppose on those of you trading the FTSE, the BP earnings were better by about 1 billion. I think it came up on the screen as such. So in theory, the production came in. Was it BBP production 3.27 million over an estimated 3.23? I think so, slightly better, not a lot. So bear that in mind. So I'm going to have a quick look at the DAX, which is ticking up here, and I'm going to have a quick look if we can get my chart in here. Right.
FTSE's quite choppy.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think what we're finding here at 8 o'clock, there's not that many people trading as such, and we have to bear that in mind on the Tuesday. We just seen that there's that DAX from that 8 o'clock with a 20 tick move. What did we say at the moment? We're expecting it not much more than that on a quiet morning. I've lost my charts here, which is
Yeah, it's gone up.
Yeah,
14, 12 points. It's come straight.
Yeah, and straight back down again. And the DAX has done exactly the same thing. This is those of you who knew it's just price action. People are buying it or selling it at market as such. And there's nothing really to be seen there. What we got on there? We're on the 27th. I'm going to whack the DAX in there. GR30. Again, there's every reason in theory not to trade as such, because the market is fairly thin. But as we see on the chart, I've got the 1 minute chart up. Some people prefer the 3 minute or 5 minute. I just put the 1 minute to give you a bit of excitement at 8 o'clock in the morning. Again, was there a trade? There was a scalp there. In hindsight, you could say there was looking at the candle, but to me, when we saw it, it was very quick. And I don't think we missed a trick there being short. I may go short in a minute on the basis just on the Green Party gaining a bigger percentage in the German thing. But I'll wait and see so some action comes in here. And until we probably, in theory, break that value low at 15,275, you can see in the chart there. And you obviously see that the reason why it's the lowest of where we've been here. Yeah. So we spoke to that before. And then I'll probably put a 20 tick stop in if we get below it, but I'll wait for it to break. Again, a lot of people are preempting things that come out, and that's quite dangerous in a quiet market. We did say in a tight market, the value high and the value low here should hold. A lot of people look at it, did extremely well using the POCs yesterday and the Fibonacci's, expecting not a lot to come out. The market will break out on single prints on news. At the moment, there's no news to come out. So there we are. That's what I'm looking at for the breaks. If it breaks 75, remember we're only 2 minutes in. So I've yet to trade this morning. I've done my homework. I'm going to do my news. In theory, if you are trading off market profile, sorry, those are the levels we got: 15,275, POC 87, and obviously a value high 93. And that's exactly where we've been the last 2 minutes. All right then. Anything else on there? They're coming up. We'll be on the discussion group as such. Those of you who have got one-to-ones with, we'll do them later on today. But again, I think don't expect too much in the market today, of course, unless any news comes out. I was going to put my picture up quite funnily. I think George has seen it. I had an anaphylactic shock on Sunday, hence I wasn't doing anything.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah, I would put it up, but I know people like
Put it on.
like Charlie Bronx
Please put it on. Please put it on.
would be in hysterics. So I might put it on just because it's quiet.
I'll be coming in to see that later.
But yeah, so apologies for that. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll put it up in a minute.
Have a good day, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, speak to you later.
Cheers, Neil.
Cheers, Neil.